thank you for coming to the inaugural year of ShaoCon. Today we are going to be doing the Women in the Industry panel, Girls Run the World. Today we are greeted by Tygarlily and AshSaidHi, two titans within the Twitch gaming sphere. So, ladies, if you would mind introducing yourselves.
All right, you want to go first?
Yes. Do I need to hold the mic?
You can.
Or is it just, am I good?
It looks like it's picking one.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Hi, I'm Tygarlily. I have been a broadcaster since 2018. I got into it when I moved to Georgia during that time. So I moved out here and didn't have a job at the time, so I went full-time streaming, and then through my connections through Atlanta, just started being a creator in the Atlanta gaming space. So I've been doing this for a while. Nowadays, I only broadcast Thursday evenings on Twitch, but I also run a stream team for a company called Ants Online, which we broadcast Monday through Sunday, 1 to 5 every day.
Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is AshSaidHi. I play lots of retro games and indie games with a retro vibe. I stream on Twitch, and I've been broadcasting since March of 2019. And I'm also a Twitch ambassador, and I am one of the 2 leads for the Twitch Women's Guild. And that role just started a couple of weeks ago, so it's been a lot of learning, a lot of work, but a lot of fun. And yeah, I love broadcasting and creating content, connecting with people through the joy of retro gaming. So yeah, that's what I do.
All right, I guess my first question to you guys is, what first inspired you to join the industry? Who were the creators before your time that made you go, that looks awesome, I want to hop into this?
That's a good question.
So my favorite game when I started broadcasting was Overwatch, and there was a creator. She wasn't an esports player, but her name was Fran, and I was just blown away by the fact that we had a female creator in an Overwatch space, because all the other gamers I watched were male. And Fran, I was like, this is awesome. So I would watch her and just be like, it'd be really awesome to get on that level. But of course, I never get on her level. She's a goddess behind the camera, and really good with Anna, which is a character in Overwatch that I adored and liked to play myself. But I would say she inspired me the most. And then I met women who worked in the industry that inspired me, very specifically Allie. She works at Access. She used to work for Access Replay, but now she works for the Gamers. And knowing that, there were powerful women that I could look up to really helped motivate me to move forward in the gaming industry.
Nice, that's awesome. When I first started broadcasting on Twitch, I didn't really know a lot of creators. I only knew like my friends who created. One of the first people I ever watched was my friend. He goes by Games with Dad. But then once I started getting into Twitch and seeing what was possible, I learned about creators like Chelsea Bites, who is absolutely amazing, previous leader of the Twitch Women's Guild, but also works with like all these computer companies as an engineer and a scientist. And when I saw her on the front page of Twitch for the first time, I was like, wow, I was really blown away, and didn't know that, like people like us were on the front page of Twitch. Yeah. So that was super inspiring. And then I found out about Story Mode Bay and Cup of Noodle and like all these really amazing, talented hosts and really funny people. They're really funny. So those are definitely people that when I first started streaming, I was like, wow, I want to be like them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I know you both have said you've been on Twitch for the longest time. So over the years, how has Twitch evolved, and do you think it is getting more streamer friendly, or what are some of the changes you've seen over the years being in the industry?
Using Twitch as a tool specifically, I think, has grown and made it so much easier to be a streamer. Whereas I used to just use Streamlabs or Stream Elements, and through those I would just use the tools I had. But then Twitch saw that and started implementing it into their just like what it's like to be a streamer on the user end. When it comes to Twitch as a platform, I adored it back when it was like Justin.tv and the type of content you saw there. Of course, they had to grow and change the different content that they would put on there. So when it comes to Twitch, I only focus in the lane of gaming, of variety gamers, of esports, and retro gaming, like AshSaidHi, and maybe a little cosplay and creative, but everything else about it, I kind of just let blur into the background. It's not my favorite. you know, like if I wanted to watch film and music, I would go to YouTube, but you have a lot of that on Twitch.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a lot to say about this topic. I think that in the most recent years, Twitch has been making a huge stride in diversity inclusion, especially with their guild program. And that's extremely important because it shows people what is possible and that they belong in the space. So I think in terms of making sure that people are seen and heard, because you'll see creators on the front page of Twitch, you'll see shelves that support, you know, like different heritage months, like AAPI month or Latin Heritage Month, and, you know, like Women's History Month and Black History Month. Like, they're taking really huge strides in highlighting creators for those things, and I think that that's super important. And then I also think in terms of tools itself, like as a Twitch ambassador, they do give us a lot of space to give feedback on things, and there are things like tools like Twitch user voice, where if you see something on Twitch and you want to impact change, you can write a Twitch user voice, and employees review those constantly. And in fact, a lot of changes to the platform have come from that. And I think that they have definitely heard feedback about discoverability, which is why they're creating tools like, you know, Twitch Stories or combined chat, and you know, like the power-ups tool, which help people monetize a little bit easier. So I think in terms of like diversity, inclusion, and tools, in the last couple of years, I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, they're doing a lot to improve. I don't know as much for other platforms like TikTok and YouTube, but I do know YouTube has a diversity inclusion program, and I do know TikTok is really expanding on their gaming program. So they're doing a lot to help people get discovered, and I think that that's awesome. And I think we're in a really great time for people to utilize a platform and to discover their audience.
Gotcha. So I know a lot of people, when they see their favorite Twitch streamers, YouTubers, they see the person, but they don't realize you guys are technically your own small business. So how is it you go about marketing yourself, especially becoming Twitch affiliates? Did you have to find somebody, or did they approach you?
I started the Twitch affiliate program before it started, so I don't have good input on it, right? So, but when you build up your brand, it helps a lot because you have a community that supports that. So I can touch on the brand part, where I personally built myself up, but I didn't know where I was going. Asking for direct feedback from my community helped me create that path. Trial and error made me go, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. And once I established a ground to stand on, I was able to create the Tygarlily branding. I think the first step is making sure that people see you, and by putting my content in all different platforms, not just on one. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, any of the new ones, even like platforms that are new like Kick, just making sure you're there, make sure that the possibility of being seen is gonna happen. Like if you're only in one area, it's gonna be hard for people to discover you. And once I was making sure my content was out there, sharing the community and the content and the value and the personality, the next step is investing in yourself. And I think creating a website for the branded Tygarlily and the community is what really pushed me up and gave me more opportunities.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so I have a degree in advertising, so when I created my channel, it was extremely important to me to have a concept behind how I wanted people to feel when they watched my channel. Like, I wanted people to feel like a sense of comfort, but also enjoying like the retro vibes. Like, not only do I play retro games, but we also talk a lot about like, you know, 80s and 90s TV shows and things like that. So it was important for me to kind of be consistent on how I made people feel. So like, I usually tell people, like, when they come to my channel, like, think of it as like a Mr. Rogers vibe, but for adults, and like, you know, it's like kind of fun, but also like a little silly. And that was intentionally done. And when I created my channel, I made sure that all of the visuals, like the colors and the logos and everything I used across platforms, were consistent. So, and then like Tygarlily said, you know, like I built a website and I did like a bunch of things. So I think that helped in terms of, you know, people finding my channel, and then me being able to build and then go from like, you know, affiliate to partner to Twitch ambassador. because then it also shows like brands and companies like I'm being strategic with what I'm doing, and there's a purpose behind what I'm doing. So, and I'm playing games, and it all like aligns. So I think that's how I approached it.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of strategy and also being affiliated with Twitch, obviously you can't just narrow yourself to Twitch. So at what point do you start branching out to other services to either help expand your audience or just advertise yourself, and how do you balance that?
I think
It's hard now.
I think most everyone today is on multiple platforms, but I personally would like to focus on one. So when I do my streaming, I will do my best to focus on one, and then the content that comes from that. So example is like every Thursday night I stream on Twitch, but I record at the same time. So after that, I'll use all the content I've created and put it on TikTok and YouTube. And I might not be live on those services, but at least my content is being posted there and shared, so that way it's living in more than one place.
Yeah, we were definitely talking about this earlier, and the importance of like highlighting you as a person in other spaces. Like I feel like, so from the day I started streaming, right, one thing that was very important to me was for people to understand how much I appreciate and value their time. So one thing that I did was after every broadcast on Twitch, I would make a thank you video that I posted to Twitter to thank everybody who rated into my channel. And then people started knowing me for that because it was like consistently done. And I still do it to this day. So
yeah, I saw it yesterday.
yeah. So it's important for me to post on Twitter, and it's important for me to upload my VODs to YouTube. Like I get a lot of people actually who find my VOD on YouTube, and then they're like, oh, I really like the vibe of your channel. I want to watch you live when you're on Twitch. And, you know, obviously the YouTube VOD is like, it's going to be living there all the time, and I feel like makes it easier for people to find you when you're not online. So I think it's important, but like I like what Tygarlily is saying about focusing on one channel. Like I personally would not multi-stream because I feel like it becomes like a disjointed experience for the chatter. Like they won't know who I'm talking to if I'm like talking to somebody on YouTube or TikTok. So if there's a way that could be bridged, like, you know, organically, I feel like maybe I would feel more okay with that. But I like to make sure that if I'm connecting with somebody on Twitch, they know that I'm connecting with them on Twitch, or if I'm connecting with somebody on TikTok, like they know I'm talking to them. So yeah, but it's important to be on other platforms so people can discover you as a person.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of making those connections with your fans, how do you balance the parasocial relationship?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It really depends on the creator. I am very similar to myself on camera as I am off camera. I might be a little more tired off camera and less energetic, because when the camera turns on, I'm on. So you get hyper energetic me all the time. But if you meet me in person, I'm gonna be the same. So I usually don't mingle, but like I'll do greet and meets maybe. I used to do them a lot. I don't do them so much anymore. And that's just because it's really hard to live up to a person's standards when you meet them in person, because they see you on camera or on Twitch and they build up just whatever they want to think of you, and then they meet you, and sometimes I feel like I let them down. And so like it's a hard, like me later, I've never told anyone this, but it kind of like eats away. And so over time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this as much. But I used to do it all the time, where we do meetups, or I used to do cosplay meetups, and we would meet at DreamHack, or we do stuff for Overwatch, and it was great. But there's always that sense of wanting to be safe and secure, and not putting yourself in like the wrong place. So I avoided doing that now, and so I usually just like mingle with people on the internet or talk to them on the internet. But it's an interesting subject. Maybe you can elaborate on it.
I feel like you could do a whole panel on just that one question.
Yeah.
Like parasocial relationships in the broadcasting space is that's a heavy topic, because you're right, people build up an idea of what they believe you are. And I mean, even in real life, you know, like that happens regularly with like, you know, your everyday people, your friends, your family. Like there's a version of you that they see through their lens, and then there's like whatever you think, and then there's like the reality of whatever that is. But I think to your point, it's extremely important to be safe and be aware of what you put out in the world about you. I am very careful about the information that I put out there because for safety reasons, but also like not everybody needs to know everything about everything that I'm doing. Like there are certain things that should just be for me, you know, because I'm a person, a real person, and there should be things that are just for me. But like for the things that like you said, if you met me in real life and the person that I am on my broadcast, I'm just a little bit turned up, but for the most part, that's me. And one important thing that I always like to tell people is like, whenever I'm sharing like memories of like because the whole thing about my channel is playing retro games, and I always talk about like, yeah, I grew up playing games with my mom and my dad, and I'm sharing the best parts of me and the things that I really love. So you're getting like all the Ash lore and stories of things relating to what we talk about, which is video games and stuff like that. So you're getting me as a person. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and like talk about like very personal topics because those kinds of things I wouldn't want to discuss on stream. So I'm very careful, and also, you know, social media is your digital tattoo, so that's never going away. People screenshot, record, whatever. So you have to be very careful about what you present online.
Fair enough. And kind of going into that, like, how do you handle your friends and family knowing you're in the live streaming industry, knowing that you're getting involved in all of these very social interactions, and how do they sort of play into your work-life balance?
When I first started, it was an uncomfortable subject because I was a cosplayer, and I didn't really like sharing that with my family directly. And then I started to grow into like, how can I make this more comfortable to talk to them about? And also the fact that I wanted to go into gaming as my career. And then once they started to support that, it made it easier to open up to them. But I started off as a closet gamer and kind of like a closet cosplayer. And it was really nerve-wracking to like find acceptance from my family, so that's not who I went to first. I actually went to whoever was into it. Like I would post on Instagram and they're like, cool cosplays. And on Twitch I would build Sylvanas Windrunner, and I'd found a gaming community around World of Warcraft. And then eventually, it took months before I could share that with my family. I don't know why at the time. I should have been more proud of it and less scared to, but now I'm like, hey guys, I work in the gaming industry, and they're like, heck yeah. And they asked me and I can talk to them about it. I think it was just because it was such an unknown path for me and I had grown up in a family who always had a plan. And so I finally had a plan after years of being in this, that it made it easier to talk to them. And now we just talk about it openly, like, hey, how's work today? And I'm just like, let me tell you all about it. And I'm really excited too, so.
That's good. I'm glad you had that transition.
Yeah.
My mom has always been very proud of me. like she's a gamer. She has a PS5. She plays Elden Ring. She's like level 173. Like my dad loved video games. I inherited all of his games. You know, he loved Mass Effect and Wipeout, and we played games since like the PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64 era. Like, so they knew everything about all the stuff that I did, and you know, like my uncle, like he loves everything that I do. So yeah, I mean, I don't tell them like every single detail because there's some things that they would be like, oh my God, Ash, like that's too much.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they see what I do, and they're really proud of like all the stuff that I do. So I feel very, very, very lucky in that regard that they understand it and that they love it. And the last time, like when I went to go visit my mom, like I did a show and we were watching the YouTube video, and she was like, how are you so brave to just be talking in front of the camera with a microphone in your hand like that? I'm like, Mom, I practice all the time, come on. But yeah, it's really cool to have their support. But yeah, and my friends, like, it's weird. Like, I talk to my family all about it, but like friends that I made like through my personal life, I don't really talk to them so much about it. Cause I don't know, there's this weird like thing in my brain where I feel like I'm gonna be like self-promoting. I don't know, it's like weird.
No.
Yeah, but my mom and stuff, like, it's like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I know being in the streaming industry, it's a lot of work. So do you guys have your teams, and how did you build your network?
Having team work is so, when I was just by myself as a single broadcaster without any like professional support or contracting out for help, I looked really hard for support from my moderators. They kept me up, and days I wanted to be a whiny little princess, they listened to me. And when I was like, hey, I have this job opportunity, we need to like get this sort of outcome from chat. Like I need my chat to be bumping. I need maybe like alerts going off. They would be so receptive and like helpful with that. Honestly, having a team of 5 people just like constantly supporting me on the internet just was really, without them, I don't think I would have been able to move forward. And today, they're still there for me. I try my best to put shows on thinking of them first, because I think that their energy and time that they put into the channel wasn't just me putting it in for my own success, it was for our success.
That's awesome. I wish I had a team. I struggle with that. Like, I do a lot of stuff by myself, like whether that's recording, editing, creating thumbnails, you know, concepting. I very rarely hire anyone out. Like the closest thing I have to that is like the people who mod for my channel. But that's pretty much it. Like I'm still a one-woman show.
Right, yeah. Being a streamer, you're your manager, you're your graphic artist, you're your social media manager, you're your production team.
Yeah. One day, hopefully I can get there.
So what are some of the projects that you guys went into just super stoked, just like, I get to be a part of this? Like, what are the moments that you're just like, yes, this made my career worth it?
Yeah, there's been a lot of those moments for me. I'm just blessed in that way. I think one of the funnest one was building something with a bigger community. I was a World of Warcraft gamer, and then I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I made this cosplay, and the stream helped support that. And then I moved to Atlanta, and I got into Overwatch. I was like, let's do it again, but let's do it bigger. So I was like, what goals should I make? And they're like, make an Anna cosplay from Atlanta Rain. Go out and cosplay it. And then I met people in Atlanta that were like, hey, we want to make a cosplay group, and we want to do watch parties. And I was like, that's even cooler. So between streaming and doing that IRL, it was just really fun. And then getting hired by Atlanta Rain themselves to stand on stage in that cosplay was like, I don't know how I got here, but this is amazing. So I think that was one of the best moments, where it was like video games and people that love that video game, like it was like a rocket ship just shooting straight forward. I had no idea where it was going, but we drove there, and it was one of the best moments of my life.
I love that. That's so cool. I think for me, all the work that I've done with Twitch, so like hosting Mario Day, like that was freaking amazing. When I did, I had a billboard in Times Square, like Twitch put me on a billboard for like Women's History Month back in 2021. Like that was really sick. And when I did the hosting for DreamHack this year, working with Lego, like that was really, really cool. Like those are the moments where you're like, oh, wow, I did something neato there. And all the brand deals that I've been able to do, like working with Nintendo and working with Ubisoft and working with Sony and Microsoft and all of those things. I'm like, yo, I get to like work with some really cool people. And I think that's another thing too, that even though it's not like a big brand name or anything like that, but a lot of the creators that I work with who are super passionate about their work, I feel very lucky being able to like walk in a room and be like, I want to collaborate with somebody, and they'll have like a million ideas and I'll have ideas, and we can work together and do something cool. Like that's amazing to me. And also being a part of the Women's Guild, like that's new. So now I get to explore this whole other world and help other people build their careers and improve their quality of work and make an impact in the industry in that way. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Fair enough. Well, I know, being women in gaming, have you guys ever dealt with the stereotype of, oh God, she's just in this because she's looking for attention? And how did you deal with those like barriers?
It's hard not being a pick-me girl. No, there is. Like I said, I started off as a closet gamer. I just wanted to play with the boys, but the boys didn't want to talk about playing with you, and so that was something I experienced a lot of. I'm blessed with strong male gamers who are like, hey, I see your talent, and you're my player too. So that's just been something really nice. But I used to feel like I had to fit in with the boys to play with the boys, and I think that's the hardest thing for me, because I'm like, yeah, I'm a girl gamer and I can do fine, but I would kind of change my personality around to be more bro, and I don't see a lot of the reverse on the internet. It might be different for you, Ash, but I just felt like I had to fit in more with the male population to game and be heard, I think. Nowadays, I don't care, and I speak out loud, and like, I'm a girl gamer, and I am the gamer's ambassador, and if I see if I see a female in the gaming space, I'll ask her direct questions to just like really make sure that she's like putting her 2 cents into whatever we're doing.
I worked in the games industry for a long time, so I have already been used to that kind of treatment. Like, I remember one time I was working somewhere, and they were like, "Don't you belong in a shoe store?" And I was like, okay, we're gonna be real quiet here. And yes, of course, there are always gonna be people who on Twitch, like, you have it easier because you're a woman, or, you know, people will like follow your channel and it's like easier for you to grow. And to them I say, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, right. But honestly, if I ever come across any of that kind of, and you'll also find like people ask you probing questions because they're trying to they're trying to size you up, right? Like, they'll find really unique ways to ask you, how old are you? Or, you know, like, are you really a gamer? But if you look, like, there is no denying my passion for video games and my work when you watch my stream and just look at the room. Like, I would not drop tens of thousands of dollars on the amount of things in my room if this wasn't something that I didn't know about, wasn't passionate about, and like couldn't speak to like intelligently. So I do think that there are a lot of like barriers that you have to deal with in that sense, but I never, ever, ever like think about those things or let it define what I am capable of. And yeah, I'm pretty loud about that too. And I also have gotten a lot of feedback from like panels that I've done or initiatives that I have taken on myself, and people are like, wow, you've done all these really cool things. You're inspiring me to do the things that I want because I see you on stage doing the things that I want to be. So when I think about what I'm gonna do, I think about those people, and then I don't think about anything else. I cut all the rest of the noise out there, and I keep going because I want to show people that they belong here, just like people showed me that I belong here. So I never think about any of the nonsense.
Well, speaking of going to panels, and hi, thank you again for coming to ShaoCon. What is it like being able to travel and go to conventions to talk to new people who are wanting to break into this industry?
Oh, it is so awesome seeing, especially young females that are like looking at you with those big starry eyes, being like, you did it, I can do it too, right? And just like being that inspiration for them, because I never thought I would be. I was always just like, I am just a gamer in the space, but being paid to travel to stuff like this or anything like PAX, DreamHack, TwitchCon, it's really nice to be, someone sees your value, you know, Twitch, for example, or DreamHack, they see your value and they think that what you do is important as well. So it's almost like they have starry eyes for you.
Yeah.
So that's really nice.
Yeah, I live for this. It's like so fun. It's a lot of work, but I also do a lot of outreach too to find out what is out there for me to participate in. And I think, you know, that's extremely important to do because you never know what's out there unless you start like taking a look around and stuff like that. But I think this helps people to get a fuller picture of who I am as a creator and who I am as a person and my work ethic. So I think it's an important part of the strategy. And once I started doing it more, I did start to see the benefits of what that was, whether that's in-person hosting or camera work or, you know, sponsored stuff and working with devs. Like, that's another thing too. Like, when I went to PAX East, I was able to talk to like all the indie devs, and then you start to get on lists, and then you're getting the game codes, and then you're doing sponsored stuff. So I think it's a really important part of the strategy.
Well, speaking to the next generation, what's something you had to learn the hard way that you want to pass on knowledge-wise to those trying to break into this industry?
Oh gosh, younger me, if I could go back 2018, I worked really hard and I wasn't able to get very far. Like, I know now how to discipline myself, especially time management and the amount of content I should be putting out and content I should be focusing on. So if I could go back and be like, hey, little Lily, stop napping so much, get up, put your marketing plan together, just sit down for a few hours, get it all put together, so for the rest of the month you can just focus on broadcasting. For example, is I really wish I had told myself to make any pictures or any graphics that I needed to do and put them in a folder, maybe little video clips, so then that way I could just focus on posting them and then getting straight to streaming instead of being like, oh, I gotta wake up, I gotta post out there, I gotta take a picture, I gotta make my video, and then I gotta go live, because that all feeds into a successful stream. That way I wasn't spending 8 hours a day. I could probably spend 4 hours a day on my streams.
Yeah. When I first started broadcasting, I fell into I went on the like Facebook groups and was like, oh, this is the follow for follow group. Like, how did that work? And I didn't know, right? Like, there were like these like faux pas that I made. I remember like when I first started broadcasting, I went into my friend's channel that I knew like personally, like he was streaming back then. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go stream now. And I was like the look on his face, and I was like, did I say something bad? Like, what? Why is he reacting that way? And then I realized afterwards, I was like, oh, self-promotion. Like, there was all of these like social cues that I had to learn in the beginning that like when I was first starting, I was like, I made all these like little mistakes and stuff. But I guess like if I could go back now, I think I would just tell Ash to like take more like classes on like improv and stuff like that. That's like one thing that I want to improve like in myself, is my ability to entertain and be fun to watch. I would definitely want to take more of those classes earlier on, so that way I could be ahead of the game at this point. So, but I'm learning that stuff now, so.
Gotcha. Well, with how high stress I'm sure this all is, what are some of the things you would advise people to do in order to like re-ground yourself and like reassure that, okay, no, this is worth it, but take that step back?
Yeah.
When it gets super stressful, whenever I accept a hosting job, it's the scariest thing on the planet, because I'll take the job and do some research before it starts, but when they say live and you're holding that microphone, my brain goes completely blank. And so I think grounding myself before that was making sure to do the study work going up to it, and then not putting myself in a stressful situation before it starts. I am notorious for just wanting to wait last minute and Zoom to my event, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Today is a good day that worked. But I remember I was a keynote speaker once and I did not prepare a speech at all. Thor looks at me and he's like, so what's your speech about? And I was like, I don't know, I should ask them. And then I asked Jay and I said, Jay, what's my speech about? He's like, whatever you put together. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just stood, and luckily the crowd was big enough that I could feed off their energy. We were going back and forth, but it's just practice. I need to practice up to the point and practice before, and that's what really helps with grounding.
I think for me, making sure that I'm taking time off just as much as I'm taking time on. Like, yes, I broadcast 3 hours a day each day that I broadcast, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but the rest of the day, I'm like researching or working on artwork or, you know, reaching out to people to find jobs. Like, there are things that I'm doing like the whole 8 hours a day, connecting with people and things like that. But I think I remind myself to make sure to get enough sleep, or take the day off and go take a walk outside, or do something fun that's not streaming related, or play a game that's not for stream. Like, there are definitely games that I only play like offline, as like not everything has to be streamed, you know? And those are my times where I'm like, I'm so glad I did this just for me, and then I come back to my work and then I feel happy, you know, like I feel like, okay, I took time for me, now I'm ready to jump back in.
So what are some of those like just for me projects you guys have done?
I don't do it on stream much. I don't paint. I love painting though. It's a way of me just to sit down and listen. And the fact that I only do it once a year is crazy, but that one time a year is like a therapy session for myself. Because it's like, throughout the whole year being in this industry, I'm just like always beating myself up, being like, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, because you're constantly just putting yourself right next to other talented people. And then that painting, when I finish with it, just being like, wow, that's actually that's a good painting. That helps me self-validate myself a lot more.
Yeah.
Just being like, hey, you are talented. Stop comparing yourself to other people all the time. And I should do those way more often. I just don't. There's not enough time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said painting, because that was totally like mine too. Like, I love painting, I love drawing, sculpture work, all that stuff. So yeah, those are things that I do for myself, like, you know, reading, photography, like I love travel. So those are all really great things that help me recenter and feel like really good about the things that I'm doing. And sometimes, like, I like editing videos, like, that have nothing to do with, like, streaming. Like, I just love the process of editing things. So that's really fun, but definitely drawing and painting is
Yeah.
up there for me.
That's good.
Well, I'll go ahead and send it out to the audience. So, does anybody have any questions that you want to ask? Any? Yes.
So, what advice do you have for people on the other side of streaming? For example, indie devs want you to play the game, how can we make it easy for you?
Yes, I get that question a lot because indie developers are too shy to go out and talk to people. You do events just like this. You meet broadcasters that are like, I want all opportunities. I want, you know, if you're in an event like this, you're going to have a room full of streamers that are looking for content to work on. And especially if you find a creator that likes to focus on indie, then make sure you're exchanging information with them. And then sometimes you will run into a broadcaster who isn't into your type of game, and that's okay, right? Like, I can't do fighting games anymore, so I don't look into them anymore. But if you're working on an indie RPG or maybe something like a dungeon crawler, like, I'm down. Like, come talk to me. I'd like to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% what Lily said. Also, if you're not able to go to like every convention, when you write your emails or you do your cold calling, make it personal to them. Like, don't just be like, hey, streamer, I really loved your just chatting. Like, that's, people are gonna know that you're not paying attention to their channel and you're just trying to, you know, contact whoever. But if you really take the time and connect with people who align with whatever type of thing that you're, whatever project you're working on, you're more than likely going to get a lot of yeses, because people, like Lily said, want to work with new developers. They want to. I know I want to, so that's how I would approach it.
Yes.
So, there is a question from YouTube. It's what gets you in the mood and what motivates you?
Thor! Just kidding. If it's like a game I really like, it's self-motivating. If I'm into it and I think that it'll be fun. But if you're running out of motivation, just connecting with the community helps, being like, hey, I don't really know what to work on today. Or sometimes I'll be like, hey, Lily, we found this on Reddit. It's so funny. Watch this. I think it's just having open comms with other folks really helps reignite if you don't have anything you're working on.
Yeah, for me, man, it's like, streaming is like my happy space, so I feel like really excited whenever I think about the idea of going live, because like I get to hang out with like all the cool people in my chat, and I get to play video games. So, but there are definitely days where I'm just like, maybe I'm exhausted, or I didn't get enough sleep, or I'm stressed out or whatever. But the things that motivate me are knowing that like I'm gonna have a really fun time with my community, or like we're gonna have like a conversation and talk about like whatever and just like laugh and have fun, you know, like I think those are the things that motivate me, just knowing, also knowing the impact that I'm gonna have on people, because there's so many times people like say like, oh my gosh, Ash, I'm so glad you're streaming today, like this is my happy space. So knowing that I have just as much of an impact on them as they have on me helps motivate me when I'm feeling like a low energy day.
Yes.
What makes you, so in terms of interacting with indie developers, what makes you choose a game like to stream? Like you're like, you know what, this is gonna be a good one.
Oh my gosh. Okay. For me, it's usually if it has like a low pixel, low poly pixel art kind of vibe. Like that's the first thing I look at is like the visual, or like then I look at like what the gameplay style is. Like, is this an RPG, a platformer, a puzzle game? I personally tend to stay away from like scary games. I'm not into like scary games. I'm such a chicken, but that helps, and knowing that it's going to fit in with the realm, the umbrella of what I'm doing. So I make sure like I follow a lot of people on like social media that create like pixel art, and 9 times out of 10 they're usually working on a game or associated with something like that. And then I'll like follow it and then see what the story is, and they'll be like, okay, I want to work with this, and then I'll reach out to them. Or like if they reach out to me, I'll check their Steam page, I'll check like if they have any trailers on YouTube or whatever, and then if it feels like something that I know is going to align with me and my channel, I'll definitely do it.
Yeah, I used to play all indie games until I was like, guys, I don't like all games. I had to stop because I just wanted to work with everything that I could. I started an indie spotlight with the help of GGDA last year, and I kept on adding games, and eventually I was like, wow, I'm really into dungeon crawlers or roguelikes or like soul-like games, and that's just how it ended up. And going out and like Ash said, finding games in that category were good. I used to a YouTuber, Splattercat Gaming, Thor showed me him. He'll put out a lot of the same type games. I'm like, oh, that looks awesome. Thank you for like even putting that in front of me. But doing that over the year, I've had companies reach out to me. Daybreak Games, they're not quite publishers, but they work with dev companies to help get their games noticed. It's like they're a borderline publisher, but they're not. They focus on that games community, like Lord of the Rings Online, or upcoming devs that like, hey, we need streamers, help us out. So that's what they do. And I just started making content on that. But it's been nice because I don't need to reach out anymore. People are putting these games in front of me. And it's just so nice to be like, oh, that's awesome, and being able to pick from that pool. But when you first start off, you just have to find the niche that you fall into.
Mm-hmm.
Do fire shirt real quick, and then I saw your hand was up too.
So you touched about this on a little bit here and there. What do you think are some really good do's and don'ts upstream?
Ash touched on one, no self-promotion. It's if you just start streaming, it's cool to hang out with another streamer. If you make them laugh, maybe they'll raid you later. So there's like that. Don't. This is the wild, wild west of streaming too.
Yeah.
So we'll just go back. Your turn. We'll go
Okay,
back and forth. You give him another do and
yeah.
don't, and then I'll think of one.
Sure. So I would say a do is definitely have a schedule, so that way you can, manage your time properly. And I would say don't be afraid to experiment. Like, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to be like, oh, I want to play this game, but it's not like let's say you play a lot of Fortnite, and then they're like, well, I can't play this game because then my numbers are gonna fall. Like, yeah, if you pigeonhole yourself, like, I get the idea of sticking with one thing and building a community off of that, but like in the long run, if you decide you want to do this in the long term, like, you might find yourself like, what if I'm not interested in this game anymore? So I would say, like, do like things in an umbrella, you know what I mean? Like, if you like one game, find games that are adjacent to it, so that way you're not like feeling burned out on one particular title. So I would say do like, experiment, and don't feel afraid that you're gonna fail.
Do invest in yourself. You can start off as a streamer with limited equipment, but always upgrade it over time. I know some streamers who didn't start off with a webcam, but their content was really good and people wanted to watch their play, so they invested in their streamer to get a webcam. And then just keep growing from there, either through your own pocket or just the support of your community, creating goals together, being like, I want to be a full-time broadcaster, I want to be professional level. So you want to make sure your quality is up there as well. Make sure you're streaming off a good PC. Make sure you have a good webcam. Audio is important because if you're screeching on the mic, people are going to immediately leave the channel. So do invest in yourself. Do upgrade your equipment. This is a fine line, don't bring too much baggage to your stream. If you're just sitting there complaining on stream, being like, hey guys, I try to get here on time, and I'm not, like, today just sucks, work sucks, this sucks, I suck. They get that energy and want to leave too. Like, that's just the thing, they're coming to you for a great event. And like, if you have a little bit of baggage or like something that you're complaining about, you know, maybe they'll share in that. But don't make that about your whole show. Like, it just brings people down, and then they just eventually they'll go away.
Yeah. I would say one other do is watch your VODs. Always watch your VODs, like air check yourself just to see what quality you're putting out. Make sure that things are like, there are times when I watched my VOD and I was like, oh, how the heck did my camera move? Like, I didn't realize that happened. Over time, things just like move around, adjust, whatever. So I would definitely say do watch your VODs. And I would say, like, for a don't, oh man, my brain.
I know this was hard.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of the next
Tough
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Like, just vague enough to be hard to answer.
Yeah.
Thinkers and stuff.
Don't avoid collaboration. Like,
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Collaborate with people. Like, there's so much to gain in working with other people. And I feel like a lot of times people feel like if they collaborate, like, oh, you know, people are not gonna want to watch my channel anymore. They're gonna go somewhere else. But like, don't be possessive of that. Like, we can all work together and find success together.
Yeah.
And then you had your hand up.
So, somebody named Andrew Greenberg.
Who's that? Who's that?
What are the ideal streams that y'all have yet to do?
Oh, that's a good-
Like what I want?
What
Yeah.
are your ideal streams that you have yet to do?
Like the golden goose of streaming.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to do more IRL backpack streams.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like, one thing that I dream about, like, is like an ultimate goal, is to go to like a convention with an IRL backpack and like do like Billy on the street and like walk up to people and ask questions and like do like a game show style thing. And then if you answer the question right, like I give you like a Steam gift card or like a Twitch gift card or something. Like, that would be my dream one day.
Yeah. My kind of runs off that at this point in my life, my dream sponsor is GoPro. Like, I've always
Yeah.
wanted to be sponsored by GoPro, but an ideal stream would be like, I don't know, a GoPro into a lounge and then gaming with someone cool like Ken Block. Like, that'd be ideal. But also, I've always just wanted to work directly for a company. The most recent one that I shot my shot but missed was Amazon Game Studio with New World. I was building myself up there, and then it didn't go through. So that would have been an ideal. Just like an ideal stream would have been like, hi, I'm New World streamer, and I'm playing New World with you today. Like, that would have been cool.
Yeah, or like going to an in-person game launch. You know, like at the Nintendo store, they do game launches all the time for their AAA titles. But then going there and being able to talk to like whatever executives show up, like sometimes, you know, Doug Bowser shows up, or like, you know, if Charles Martinet showed up, like just being able to go to those real life events and then give them a slice of life and then be able to talk to the cool people who are there. You know, like the fans who are excited, who cosplay and stuff like that. That would be my ideal world.
It's hard because we've already done so much.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play game devs, already done it, so.
Yeah.
So y'all go to these cons a lot. You meet a lot.
Yeah.
Who is some of the coolest people you've met at cons? Like, you know, like you met another streamer, or you know, just someone else who like, you're like, wow, I got to meet them because of this.
Yeah, I met Pirate Software while I was at TwitchCon San Diego this year. That was freaking cool. He was so nice, like really wonderful. Yeah, Thor is just a really, really awesome, sweet human being. That one too, yeah, but yeah. Pirate Software was really cool. I got to meet Code Miko. She was really awesome.
She's awesome. I really like her stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a really good, it blows my mind, her content.
Yeah,
She's
I
so
did a
smart.
panel with Trihex, who's like one of the global emotes of Twitch. Like, he's like such a humble, amazing, talented dude, and at an industry event, like I went to E3 one time and I met like Charles Martinet and I walked by Mr. Miyamoto, like that was like, it blew my brain. Like I was like, what the heck is going on here? That was really cool. And Reggie Fils-Aimé, like I've met him before, so that was really awesome.
Yeah, you do this so much, you run into, I used to volunteer for conventions before I even started streaming, so just like this one, I got to meet like Caitlin Glass or Bob Carter, and just like, you don't realize like, these people are famous. But there's all that, but when it comes to streamers, I've worked with a lot of streamers for certain contracts or jobs and stuff, so, but we're talking about conventions specifically. So Harris Heller, he went to DreamHack in 2020, and that was cool, got to meet him. And then I was in the creative space and cosplay space, so the only TwitchCon I ever went to was 2019, and that was fun because I just love the way that Twitch interacts with their creators, or the cosplayers, and how they did it. So this year Capcom brought in like their Monster Hunter people, when I went to TwitchCon, I got to meet, to me, who are personal heroes like Evil Ted, Talk Workshop, Bjorn, Leather Crafting. Like those were my people. Like I wanted to meet them. And when I first started streaming on Twitch, that was when Twitch had an initiative just to bring in more crafters and creators. And so they were all interacting with each other on there. So I was building Sylvanas Windrunner and they'd come see me. And so to me, those were like the cool people. Like I was like, this is awesome, I met them. And since then, it's just, we constantly meet new people at these events. So yeah.
Yeah. The last day at TwitchCon San Diego this year, I got to talk to Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so nice.
He's a dad now.
Yeah.
You talk about cosplaying, you've been that a lot. What are some kind of tips and tricks you give to people either who are pretty early cosplay or want to get into it?
You want to get started. Really depends on what your goal is. Like, what is it that you are striving for? Because I start crafting, like, stream. Okay, the most recent person was Panay Princessa. She wanted to make New World armor, and so I was just like, okay, so you're going to start working with foam. The first step is to getting the tools and practicing. You can practice on making your first costume, or you can just do, hey, I'm going to try here first. It's going to fail. I'm going to try again and keep building until you get that perfect chess piece that you're looking for. If you want to get into 3D printing, you have to start researching your 3D printers. Cosplay is a huge umbrella, and there is people that want to make their cosplay or people that just want to cosplay. And so if you just want to cosplay, you want to look for like the best stores out there to get your favorite costume and stuff. There's just like an open-ended, like when someone asks me that question, I say, what's the goal? Because it's so hard to just give you so much information at once. Yeah.
I don't cosplay, so I don't know. I don't have any answers for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed it. We had a panel earlier that was called "Taking the Cost Out of Cosplay." So, and Ash happened to be one of the people sitting.
I was
in the panel,
learning.
Yeah.
I was learning.
But any audience questions or? All right. Well then, if you guys had an infinite amount of money and you could do anything, whether it is taking a project that exists already and like revigorating it, or even getting your hands on one of the canceled projects that we all knew about and wanted to get into, what would be the project? What would be the game, the outfit, the show? What would you do if you could do anything?
I would get the best like streaming backpack setup, and I would go to Japan and stream from the new Nintendo stores, the Nintendo Museum, and I would just want to do like IRL travel to the max. Like I love travel so much. I would build like the sickest setup and be able to stream from like anywhere in the world, and then be like going to like Sydney and Toronto and like, you know, places in Africa or South America. Like that would be so ultimate, like amazing. Like I would be like, okay, I'm happy. I feel like I made it.
Yeah. I'm like almost the same, but the van, where I
Yeah.
just stream like World of Warcraft from
Yeah.
that van. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
If I had the unlimited money, I don't want to be the manager of this. I just want to be the creator. But you know how Fextra Life has like a pipeline here's a publisher, here's a key, you guys focus on this, and they just like put out a bunch of content. That'd be really cool. And I just want to focus on making game guides, but it'd be a pipeline where you have this creator team ready to go, and a video editor maybe, and then a graphic designer, just like one team, and then when we're provided the game, we just build content on it and guides that the internet needs. Very similar to Fextra Life and like Wowhead. That'd be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's pretty good.
So at the risk of stirring the pot, was there ever a project or a game that you started and partway through you went, God, this sucks? And how did you manage that?
Oh God, there was one time when I was broadcasting Skies of Arcadia Legends on GameCube, and the random battles in that game were so like frequent. I was like, I can't stream this game. This is like misery, you know? Although the game is great, like just that one portion of the game made it difficult to broadcast. You would have to be able to really like talk about anything, because you literally have to stop what you're doing every single time. So after that, I was just straight up. I was like, yo, chat, I can't stream this game anymore. We gotta do something else. Like, I'm putting this one to rest. This is an offline game for me. So I think just being transparent and being like, yo, I can't do this anymore. Let's move on to something else. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, yeah, I get it.
It's funny because any of the games that sucked, I just deleted from my head, so I can't like name them.
Yeah.
But there was times, so I worked with International Game Development Association, and they were doing an event with Sweden. And so they're like, here's a pot of games, pick from them. I was like, okay, I'll pick from them. But the one that I didn't like the most was there was no voiceover of the character. Like, I had to read everything to chat, and that gets really hard and annoying. Otherwise, I'm just sitting there, like reading it. And so in order to keep them engaged, I have to read it out loud, right? But this game is the writer. It was really hard. So I was like, I want to stop. And I couldn't. I was being paid to stream it. And
Oh, dear.
most of the time, though, I'll stop if there's a game that sucks. I'm trying to think of one recently where I was just like, so for this company I work for, Ant Online, we'll be given games, and we can't say that they're bad, but we can just stop streaming. And so I'll be playing a game, and I'll be like, okay, I just got to get through the next hour, and then I'm going to switch to Call of Duty because that's actually what I want to play right now. And so and that happens from time to time, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, going from the worst to the best, what are the moments in gaming that you hit that point in the game and you were just like, this is now my all-time favorite thing, and this will stay with me for the rest of my life?
Yeah. I mentioned this yesterday, but when I played Metal Gear Solid 1 the first time ever, that was like, I was like, I get it now. I get why this is constantly on people's lists of like top video games, because the story, the cinematic, the voice acting, like just like all of the boss battles, like I get it. And because that was a first time playthrough, and like chat was living vicariously through me, they were like super hyped to see every time I was like freaking out about something in the game. So that was one of the best moments I had streaming a game. It was really fun.
Yeah. Dark Souls, because it's just one of those achievements you have to have on your, like, a badge, right? So, chat was basically playing the game for me, telling me what to do, and then anytime I beat a boss, they could see just like, I did it! Oh, I did it! Right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people's like badge of honor when it comes to gaming. One of the more difficult ones. So I would say for me, it was beating Dark Souls 1. That one is a badge of honor. And I'm glad I have that under my belt. Yeah.
Alrighty, so silly argument. PC or console?
PC! I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the console person. Yeah, because I have like so many different consoles at home. You know, I actually just ordered an analog, the Nintendo 64.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I just ordered one. So I love PC gaming. I have a very large Steam and GOG library, but I think my heart's always gonna be with console.
And are there any games in your library where you impulse bought them when I'm totally gonna play this and then never touched?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much almost all the games I have. There's a lot. Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma was the most recent one.
Yeah.
Touched it for 5 seconds, but wish I kept playing it.
Yeah.
Didn't finish Diablo 4 Hardcore. That's still sitting there. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
One last question.
What's your favorite game?
Oh man.
Very, I know that's a very, very big.
Yeah.
What's the game like your
The one that means the most to me is Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time I could see like, oh, games can be hot.
Yeah.
But it was just like the graphics of it, right? That's why I like PC gaming, because you push the graphics and you can see what's in the future. But I couldn't play it. I wanted to know what happened so bad, but I had to ask my older brother to finish it so I could watch it. And so
Yeah.
it means a lot to me. But there's like, I could list so many.
Yeah. I think if I was on a desert island and I could only take like 1 or 2 games with me, I would pick Breath of the Wild and Morrowind. Because, like, literally, you'll be playing Morrowind forever. Like,
IRL. Just,
yeah.
Alrighty, well we are towards the end of our panel here, so ladies, are there any projects you guys are working on? Anything big you want to announce?
Oh, man. I mean, probably just my work in the Twitch Women's Guild. Like, that's going to be a lot of my focus for the year, and just helping to uplift the women and marginalized genders in that space. So that's going to be really important to me. But I'm going to continue looking for hosting work, and I'm going to be streaming and having fun on my Twitch channel. So, yeah.
Alright, and you as well?
I'm looking forward to Thursday nights on Twitch. That's when I stream on Tygarlily. It's really fun. And then I just love making my indie segment for Ants Online. And so I've been posting on the Ants Online YouTube, ANT as an ant online. Enjoying that. That's been really fun. That's like my passion project. Besides that, the end of the year is coming, and then next year I have the Gamers Awards to look forward to here in Atlanta, so that'll be fun.
Nice, so wrapping everything up, where can people find you guys?
I'm on Twitch, Tygarlily, Tygarlily.
Nice. And I'm on Twitch. That's my main channel, but you can find me everywhere. YouTube, Threads, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that stuff. Instagram at AshSaidHi. Everywhere.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come to this panel, talk to everybody. Oh, one last question?
what days do you stream?
Oh, okay. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And usually I'll be live 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. I'm really appreciated getting to talk to you wonderful people, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you to everybody who came to the
Yeah,
panel today
thank
here
you.
at our first inaugural ShaoCon convention.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
You were
everybody.
great.